Let's do it. Welcome to the Recession podcast. Today it's a different episode. I got a good friend of mine. We seen each other around through the ranks, running around and doing what we do. Always respected what you've done musically and what you've done is for Philly, just as an individual.
Yeah,
Um,
same thing for you, bro. You already know how you carried it.
yeah, I
We got
love it.
got crazy love for you in Philly, man. You already
I
know.
love it. Yeah, they used to tell me back in the day, or one of my partners, like, boy, they love you like you from Philly.
For sure.
You feel me?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Freeway, and Freeway is a part of the iconic, uh, um, iconic rock La Familia movement. Um, State properties he's been in that clip. He's Freeway was he's he got some of the best verses in rap, and I love that, man. Um, but today this is a different approach, bro. I mean, the last time I saw you, you was we was in my basement at my studio, and we was all kicking it one night. I think it's a gang of us down there. We was listening to Meek's album,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it was the last time we got up,
Yeah, that
and
was the On the Run 2 tour.
yeah,
That
yeah,
it was after that I slid through.
right,
Yeah,
right,
it was a good night, man. Had a good time rocking with y'all.
yeah, for
I, w-
sure,
I
for
wish I,
sure.
I wish I would have put a verse on that record though, but it's all
Yeah,
good.
you should have pulled it back up. Said shoot your shot, baby. Couple of drinks, it's gonna happen. Everybody feeling good. Um, yeah. So how's Philly? Like, what's going on in Philly right now? How with everything going on in the pandemic? I know you close to the streets, and you close to the people. I mean, how do you feel like it's changed? I mean, is it and Philly's a real city. Like
I mean,
people,
it's rough in Philly right now. People
yeah,
people dropping like flies. Like I just was watching the news and a chick just came back from she was on vacation in Atlanta. She just came back from vacation and she was like visiting somebody down North Philly and she got murdered. People be getting
wow,
murdered every day in
wow,
Philly, like young
yeah.
kids. It's crazy. It's wild out here right now.
Do you pair it with what's going on in the world, or just that's just Philadelphia for you?
I mean, it's Philadelphia for you, but it definitely got a lot to do with what's going on in the world, with the climate of the world. With the pandemic, and then all the police brutality going on. The
Hmm.
cops killing people. Those things definitely spark it back up. It's a guy that had mental issues. It probably was like 2 weeks ago in Philly, and his peoples had called the cops to come defuse the situation. And the cops wound up shooting him and killing him right in front of his mom, right, and everybody had it on camera.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
of
I
course,
saw that on the news.
of course, they start tearing the city back up. They start looting in. People got to board their businesses back up, and they was right back to it when that happened. And
Yeah, and I
it's
saw I saw
wild. It's
that I
wild in
saw
the streets right now.
saw that on the news, and I saw it somewhere else, and it was crazy because you could see the whole clip. I mean, you could see his mother screaming for him to stop. You can see the officers, you know taking that stance, and then you see it when it's happened. And the crazy thing is, like, I know you being from Philly, like I'm being from Atlanta, like it's different types of cities, and Philly is to me is like one of those cities where, like, it has its own heartbeat. Like, it's the people, all the people in Philly, whether it's um, just the Muslim nation, just the beliefs and how they go about it is when you're in Philly, like you
Yeah,
feel
for
it.
sure,
You know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying?
It's definitely a vibe in Philly, and we have a large. I'm Muslim myself, and we have a
Mm.
large Islamic community. So, whoever the majority is, basically tends to have effect on the people. That's why if you come to Philly, you might see a brother with a big beard. He might not even be Muslim, but that's
Mm.
what he see and that's what he around. So
Mm. Mm. Mm.
that's the influence on the culture in Philly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Man, I mean, it's crazy to see, bro. Just everything going on in the world, and like I said, I popped in Philly when everything was all good, and it was Philadelphia, and I'm just sitting back, and I'm like, I haven't been in a while because of the pandemic, and I can just only imagine. I want to talk to you specifically because we do what we do, and we love what we do, and we never think about when we doing music, things that we do in life to advance, that health care or your health could be you know something that that can change everything about who you are and what you're doing. And I just want to talk to you today because even when I heard the news that you was diagnosed um, with kidney um, a
Yeah,
kidney
kidney
situ-
failure. Yeah,
kidney
yeah, yeah.
failure. I When I first heard the news, I'm like, wow, like I know Free, full of life, full of energy. He get his thing off. He got it in him, and it just like even growing up, listening to you guys' music, you just think that I would have took it like you was invincible because of what I seen. And
For sure.
yeah,
Me being me, I felt like that. I felt like I was invincible. I
right.
felt like nothing could happen to me. And being an artist, like we be in the stew 2, 3 in the morning, ordering
Mm,
cheeseburgers, eating whatever
right.
we want to eat, running around after the shows. You get out the club 2, 3 in the morning. You got appetite because you just burned it down. So you going to whatever's open, and those things after years and years of living like that affected my body. In September 2015, I was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure. I was on dialysis for 4 years, from September 15th, 2015 to February 5th, 2019, where I, received my gift of life. I received a organ transplant, which was a blessing to me because even when I was out there with y'all, I was on dialysis at the time. That's why you notice I had to break out early. That's why I had to break
Yeah,
out
I peeped
early
that. I peeped that.
because the next morning I had to do dialysis.
So
And I
so
even like
so
I had my cameraman in there and he shot a little video when we was in there and he showed that the next morning I had to go to dialysis. That was my
wow.
reality at the time. And dialysis,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to explain that. Yeah.
it's the process that it does what your kidneys does. It cleans the fluids and the toxins out of your body. So they will hook me to a machine and they stick 2 needles in my arm. One is called the venous and one is called the arterial. That's why even though I got a transplant, I still got this in my arm. I didn't get it removed yet, but I'm going to get it removed. And with these two places, they access the blood. They stick the venous and the arterial, 2 needles in my arm. One needle drains the blood out, put it in the machine, and it cleans the
Yes.
blood. And then the other needle puts the blood back into my body. So it's basically filtering my blood and doing the job that my kidney does. And it takes 4 hours a day. So I was doing that 4 hours a day, 3 times a week, no matter where I was at in the world. I had to do it.
But you was so how does so when that happens, is it somebody that travels with you to do it, or you just know how to do it with the machine yourself?
It's a few different ways you could do dialysis. The way that I did it, it's called hemodialysis. That's when they hook you to the machine and they stick you with the 2 needles. And the reason why I chose that is because you actually go to the dialysis clinic and the nurses do it for you. You know what I'm saying? And I felt
Right,
as though
right.
that was easier for me. It was more safe. It was less risk of infection. Because it's other forms of dialysis that you could do at home, and you have to do it in a sterile, clean room, and it's certain rules that you got to follow, but you're doing it on your own. So I felt as though if I did it with the actual dialysis care people, it would be better for me. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out for me. I didn't get any infections throughout the whole time, and it was good. The only thing is when I travel, I have to go to different dialysis units. So when I was in Atlanta, I knew I was going to be doing a couple dates on that tour. So before I left, my dialysis unit set up dialysis for me in every city that I went to. Because there's dialysis units
Mm,
everywhere, all over the
okay,
world. So
okay,
they
okay.
they lined it up like part of my itinerary. You know what I'm saying? So you know how
Right.
itineraries go. I had to be here
It's
a
on
certain
point.
time in the morning, be on point. You know what I'm saying? So it was a
Yes.
huge life adjustment, but I made it work. And by the
Yeah.
grace
So
of God, I received a kidney.
yeah. I was gonna ask you about that. So to go back a little bit because I just want to understand. Because I had my thing too. I was drinking Cristal and eating Waffle House in 02. I was 260. And,
I seen you
right, I had the
hopping
stomach,
out of
right,
Lambos, hopping out of
right,
Lambs
right,
early, bro. I was there. I seen you,
right,
bro.
early.
Facts.
And I was 260 pounds, and I saw myself on TV one day, and I was just like, damn, I gotta figure this shit out. And I just started researching on how to how to eat better. I wasn't drinking water um, at all. I was champagne and whatever I can get. and I was just eating crazy hours, whatever. And now I'm a pescatarian, but it took a lot, and I lost 60 pounds on my own just by researching and learning how to eat better and learn how to get my water intake up, and it did a lot for me, even mentally, spiritually, it just, health wise, it just I feel better. I feel younger, and I felt older then. I get up tired, the whole thing. So my question is, how, like, when you was eating and you was doing your thing, like, did you feel, because you basically saying this came from not eating right and taking care of your body.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you feel that going along? Like, did you feel like you was getting to a point where you felt like, my body is
Most definitely.
right?
Just like how you said I was 230 at one point. Just like how you said you was groggy and tired. I felt all
Mm,
that. I knew that I need to lose weight, and I wasn't taking the proper steps to do it. You know what I'm saying? And uh, prevention. I mean, I could have avoided being on dialysis. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes, so I had warnings. High blood pressure is a risk factor for kidney failure. Diabetes is a risk factor for kidney failure, and just being African American is a risk factor for kidney failure.
wow.
So, soon as we born with a risk factor.
Why is that? Do you know?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure. It has something to do with our genetics.
Okay. Yeah.
As soon as we born, we have a risk factor. So
Man.
I didn't take heed. Like when I first was diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes, I was chilling. Like, Beans got diabetes too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So when I first got diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure, I was on it. Like I was eating right. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I remember pulling up on Mac. We had a show, and he was like eating a cheesesteak. I'm like, yo, dog, what you doing? We got diabetes. You can't eat no cheesesteak. He like, free. I'm eating a cheesesteak. And I'm like, you tripping. Like
That sound
seven,
like
eight
Matt.
months later, 8 months later, I was splitting the cheesesteak with him. Then I'm right back
Right.
eating the cheesesteak
Right
and
back
all.
to
You know
eat
what I'm saying?
cheesesteak.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all about making the proper choices. Prevention is all about putting the right things in your body. Making sure you you
Mm,
you 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 watching your food intake. You drinking the right fluids. You see, I'm on the alkaline water. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You
yeah.
got you got to put the right things in your body, and the most important thing is keeping up with your routine physicals. At least getting your blood work done at least once a year, because your blood work is the only thing that can tell you what's really
What's
going on in
going
your
on with your
body.
body? It's like your oil change.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you ain't on it, and it's crazy because even for me, like, it was one point in my career, like, I was drinking, smoking, hanging, not getting rest, and it was like,
We was all there, bro.
yeah,
We was
it was
all
it,
there.
it was a lot, and one day, and I was just like, damn, like, I just really felt myself, being weaker and having problems that I shouldn't have, health wise. Like, would you when you learn how to eat better, was it like something that when you went to the doctor, they told you, hey, look, you need to change up your whole diet? Or is it something you went and researched? And what was that diet like?
They tell you what you got to do, then it's up to you to do it. It's your life, it's your body. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The doctor's they're gonna give you the manual, but it's up to you to follow it. You know what I'm saying? And so, I switched to an alkaline diet for a minute. That worked good for me for a few months. Then I just started eating lean meats and just watching my intake and watching what I put into my body. And
Mm,
when we used to be on tour back in the day, running around with Jay and Dame, they used to be like, yeah, I remember waking up. Jay and them used to be in the gym early in the morning working out, and like we used to order food and stuff. They'd be like, "I'm telling y'all eating them cheeseburgers, y'all better." Like Jay was eating like crab cakes and baked wings and
right.
healthy things, and we was just eating whatever,
Right.
feeling like we Supermen and ain't nothing gonna happen. And slowly but surely it affected me.
Yeah, well, as soon as I started changing, eat my diet, you got to imagine, I got a whole tour bus full of G's for my neighborhood, and all they talking about is, man, you eating that bougie food. I'm like, man, I'm trying to stay alive, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be out here to spend some of this paper. Let me ask you this: so, like, how did it how like so with something like that, dialysis, like, in my auntie, she actually has to do the same thing, and I didn't understand it until my mother explained it to me. And is it painful?
It can be painful. It's draining. Like one day you might feel like you could do things afterwards. One day you might just want to go to bed. Like it's draining. Like it's all of your body is blood is getting drained out of your body and getting put back in. The most painful part is the needles. Like every time I had to put the needles on, it's something called lidocaine. It's like a numbing cream that I had to put on my
Okay.
arm
Right.
before I put the needles in. So you put that on like 20 minutes before you go to dialysis. So I remember one day I had a show, so I'm like came straight off the road and I had to go straight to dialysis. And the numbing cream was at my house. So I'm like, I'm cool. I ain't worried about that numbing cream, man. I went in that joint and they stuck me with them needles without that numbing cream, dog. Oh my God, yo.
Damn.
Them Jones, like the whole time, it's just like they 15 gauge needles. They be like this big.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So whew, like that's the most painful part. And then, being on dialysis, they drain the fluids and the toxins out of your body. So sometimes they might drain too much fluid and then you'll be cramping. Like that was like the most worst part for me. I would like catch cramps in both of my legs and then they cramp up, then your back cramp up, and you like a big cramp and you can't do nothing. It's just very painful. So
Damn. And you say the first indicator was diabetes?
a risk factor is high blood pressure,
Right,
diabetes,
right.
and being African American. Those the three major
And,
risk
and you
factors.
and you well three obviously because you all three of them. So you when you was diagnosed with diabetes, and I hear diabetes a lot. I know Boosie has diabetes, and I see him from time to time. Posting things trying to get needles and get his insulin. Did you have to go through that process of taking insulin and doing the whole thing? And how did you know when you was diagnosed with diabetes? Like you went and got a checkup, and they told me, "Hey, look."
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Dame because he had diabetes for a long time. So I would see him. He will always show us like, yeah, I got diabetes. There's nothing to be ashamed of. So when I was diagnosed with diabetes, being as though one of my mentors, somebody I looked up to, had diabetes, I wasn't ashamed of it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
I just did what I had to do. Fortunately, I was on insulin for like 6 7 months. I just started working out. I started eating right, so they took me off the insulin, and I was just taking pills for diabetes. But once I got on dialysis, I lost a lot of weight. So I haven't been taking medicine for diabetes since then. I got it under control right now by the grace of God. So
right. Yeah. Always by the grace of
type
God.
two type two diabetes can be controlled if you do the right thing, put the right things in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
But you
So
can
it's
feel it. Like one of the signs of diabetes and kidney failure is urinating a lot. Like when you find yourself having to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. I remember I couldn't even ride to New York from Philly without having to go to the bathroom. Like I had to stop at a rest stop, and I just was like always thirsty, and I just always felt like I had to go to the bathroom. I knew something wasn't right, and then I
right.
went to the doctors. My blood pressure was high, and my diabetes was like 400 or something like that, and they
Man.
kept me in the hospital for like a week, and then they got everything under control. Then I came home, and I had to start taking medicine. And at the time, I didn't even have health insurance. We don't get no health insurance in hip hop. Like it's
Yeah.
up to us
Yeah.
to go out and get it.
Get it right.
So I'm paying $700-800 a month just for my medicine, and
I
I
mean,
had
out of pocket though.
it. Yeah, I had it. And I was like,
Okay.
man, ain't about it. Fortunately, I had it. You know what I mean? I wasn't even thinking about getting insurance. But once I finally got insurance, my medicine was probably like $60-70 a
Right.
month. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's why it's very important that we have healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Fortunately, I was in a situation when I can afford it. But there's so many people that's in that same situation that can't afford it.
for it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy because it's just like when you get money and you're really just thinking about keeping it moving. You ain't even considering the because you're not even slowing down to take care of yourself to make sure that you're good so that you can keep being that machine. Like it's like because your body is the only vehicle you got to get you to where you're going, and when you in that world, like us is like you just you getting the bread, so you figure okay, if I can pay for it, I'll be good. Like, did you ever think? And then if you fast forward to now, because I want to go back and forth, like fast forward to now, like, do you know how much money you probably spend out of pocket on your health care versus what you're spending now?
Probably did that for like 2 years,
Right.
$700-800 a month for like 2 years. So you do the math, and
Yeah.
that's just the regular medicine, not to mention the doctor's visits that I had to pay for out of pocket because I didn't have
Hmm.
insurance. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I just was rocking out because I had it.
Right. And even like now, like so you have the insurance, you still have to go get checked up, and everything you do. So like with everything that's going on in the world, when you think of like healthcare and what's at stake with the government and how they're going back and forth. I mean, how does that affect you? Because they talk about taking healthcare away, they're making healthcare this, they're making healthcare that, and you got people like yourself that this is something that you're gonna have to deal with for pretty much a lifetime. If I'm not wrong.
That's one of the reasons why I've been vocal about it, because it is very, very important. Like I told you, you got to see the doctor at least once a year to get your routine physicals and get your blood work done. If you
Right.
don't have health care, you ain't doing that. Like people in the hood not doing that. Like I
Yeah.
remember back in the day, you could take your man medical card. Like if you something happened to you, you'd be like, yo, let me borrow your medical card. And you could go to the free clinic and get checked out. But it's not going down like that right now. You need your own health insurance. And it's very important. And the people in the inner cities, they don't go to the doctors. They don't have health insurance. If they don't have health insurance, they don't go to the doctors. I remember I was down the way, down north, like in the Kensington area. That's like where all the dope and everything is at, Kensington Beach. And one of my homies still be out there, and we was chopping it up. Just like when COVID first hit. And he was like, "Yo, bro, I was watching the news and all the statistics. Nobody got COVID down here. Like the whole Kensington, ain't nobody got COVID down here." And I'm like, "That's because ain't nobody down here going to the doctors to get a test and
Right.
get checked
Right.
out.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying? Because don't
Right.
nobody down there got no
Right.
health insurance.
Right.
So you got a whole neighborhood where nobody is registering because nobody got health insurance, and everybody probably got COVID, and they leave that neighborhood and run around to the rest of the city and spread it all over the place. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah. No, it's crazy. So with being in Philly and and a lot of people don't have health insurance, um, and I'm quite sure in your journey and things you've been going through, have you ran into any youngsters like that face the same um, situation? Kidney problems, no insurance, no health care. Have you ran across any like youngsters or people that you might know personally?
Definitely. When I came out with my story, bro, you'd be surprised. It's probably people right around you right now
Uh-huh.
that might have kidney failure and won't even tell you, because people be
Mm.
embarrassed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people, especially in the business that we're in, no one wants to look weak.
Weak, yeah, no question, no question. Right, right, right.
It's people that's in the music business that like, yo, free, I'm doing, like, I appreciate you coming out with your story. I'm dealing with the same thing that you dealing with, but don't say nothing to nobody. Don't tell nobody. Like, and they, struggling to keep an appearance up, you know what I'm saying? And, that's probably even making it worse for them because, going through that on top of stress and, and anxiety, it could just make the situation way worse. But it's people in the business that's going through what I'm going through. You see our OG Scarface. He was just
Yeah,
diagnosed with kidney
which
failure.
which is crazy.
Chopped it up with him a couple times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God
What,
willing,
what was it? What was that conversation like?
well, basically, he just basically, wanted to know what I knew. And I
Okay.
basically was like breaking down to him, everything that I went through. And just letting him know I'm here for him if he ever want to talk. And use any of my resources that I have. Just basically, being a brother to him because I know how it felt when I was diagnosed with kidney failure, bro. Like when I first walked into the dialysis room, bro, imagine this. You Jeezy and you walking into a dialysis room is probably like 20 patients in there. And you first walk in there and you see the machine, you got to sit there for 4 hours. I'm like, wow, this is my life now. Like coming from
Yeah.
just being on the big stage to that, like it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, it's like a reality check. Like you're like God is in control. You're not in control. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care
Right.
how many
Right.
Benzes you got. Like
Right.
I don't care
Right.
how much jury you got. God is in control. That was like a reality check, bro.
Right.
And then
No.
being in dialysis is like a family. Like you know what I'm saying? Because you're with them three times a week. You know what I'm saying? And one day I was in dialysis and somebody died right next to me, but it happened to be a day that wasn't my day. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was the same situation where I had a show and I had to come like the next day. So I was on a shift that I don't normally be on. You know what I'm saying? So the person passed away like right next to me. And it was crazy for me just because that's my reality. Like this could be me too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
going through the same thing. But I didn't have a relationship with him because it wasn't my normal day. Like if it was my normal day and it was somebody that I kick it with every day, we talk about sports and everything, like that joint would have hurt, bro. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I can only
losing one of the
imagine.
homies. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. And you
And
got
then knowing it's just like the streets. Like we know, like if somebody gets shot and you in the same, you doing the same thing they doing, you out here in the streets taking the same risks they taking, and they get killed, you like, damn, this could be me. Like this is
yeah.
we're doing the same thing. So it's
Ain't
that's
right.
how it was with me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And y'all get that, and y'all get that that bond because y'all have something in common that you experiencing together. Like the average person wouldn't understand the nights that you might be sick or the mornings you wake up and you might be too weak to do what you got to do, and you got a thousand things, and you got things on your plate, you got responsibilities, you got people to take care of that depend on you, and it's just like your physical is not there. Like how did it affect you, like personally though, like what, because I'm a fan of Freeway. Like I watch you guys grind. I watch the whole movement. Like how did it affect you, um like mentally, like just with what you came from, and then you walking into this life. Did it make you stronger mentally as a fighter? Because I know you're a fighter, you from Philly, you got to do that. But like, how did it affect you mentally?
Um, I'm Muslim, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And for those that don't know about Islam, like, you know, Islam is it's just a beautiful religion. Like it's no blind following, everything makes sense, man. And I believe in the law. Like when the doctor called me, I was in the house. I was in the house, you know, with my peoples. And when the doctor called me, it was like, you need to get to the emergency room right now. Like your creatine levels is off, your your kidney functions is off. I didn't even tell her. I just went straight to I was like, the doctor called me, I gotta go see the doctor. I didn't tell her what it was about or how serious it was.
Right.
And I just went straight to the masjid and I prayed and I asked God to help me deal with whatever the situation is. Cause I didn't know how serious it was. Or, you know, man, I like, you get that call, bro. Like, I'm like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I went and prayed. I asked God to help me deal with the situation. I believed that he was going to do that. And I went to the doctors. I was diagnosed with kidney failure. They cut my chest open. They put a permacaf in. Then the next day, I started doing dialysis, and I accepted it. You know, and I'm like, God ain't gonna put nothing on me that I can't handle. And I just
Right.
started moving forward with it. And I felt like it was important for me to let people know what I was going through because I had three risk factors for kidney failure, and I still didn't think it could happen to me. My cousin
Mm.
Shandia, she died because she had kidney issues. I got an uncle Chucky that had a transplant. Now he's back on dialysis. And I have all these examples in my life. I had three risk factors for kidney failure, and I still didn't think it could happen to me. So
Right.
I felt like it was very important for me to let people know and spread the awareness because there's so many people that's in the same position and might not even want to go to the doctors, you know what I'm saying, because they fearful, you know. So I felt like,
Yeah.
hey, look, people know that I keep it a beam at all times with my music and, you know, just the type of person that I am. And if you know me, then you know I stand on that. So if I'm out here telling y'all that this happened to me because of these choices that I made and it could happen to you too, hopefully somebody will listen. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Right.
I mean, but they have to, because at the end of the day, it's just like when you out here, you're not taking care of yourself, and you're not eating right, and you're not doing the right things, working out, being healthy. You're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting yourself in the way. Man, like, so you talk about the kidney transplant, and I remember when I heard it somewhere. What was that process like? Like you knew you had to get a kidney, your life depended on it. What was that waiting process like, and what was the moment like when you actually got the call to say, We got you a kidney"?
The waiting process is tough, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Some people wait 10, 12 years. Like, I remember they was doing a rally for Meek. I think Meek was still booked and he had a rally. So car service came pick me up to take me to the rally, speak at the rally. And I'm sitting in the car right before I'm getting ready to go. I think Meek had just came home. I think he was home at the time and he was doing a rally and I went down there to support and speak at the same time. And I was sitting in the car waiting to go on stage and I got the first call, like, yo, we might have a kidney for you. So I'm like
Right.
automatically like that joint just put me like, oh wow, like this might really happen for me.
Right.
And that wound up not working out, but it gave me hope. Like, okay, they starting to call now.
Right.
So what I did was shout out to the great people at John Hopkins, man. that's where I got my kidney transplant at. And when I was there, I felt like I was the only patient. Like they really treated me amazing. What I did was they had a research study where they were giving people kidneys with hepatitis C, and they was
Okay.
curing the hepatitis C. It's a medicine called Maverick, and you take one pill a day for 8 weeks, and it cures the hepatitis C. This was back in 2019. The process was so new that insurance didn't even cover it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So of course it's a risk with taking a kidney that got hepatitis C, because you never know where the person, whatever else the person is doing. When you register to get a kidney, they have high risk kidneys. It might have been somebody that was doing drugs and everything. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, they clear the organ, and as far as they're concerned, the organ is 100% clean. But you never know, like something
Right.
might pop up. So you got to sign off on it. Of course, it's a risk. So I agreed to do it. I signed up for the program, and probably like the next 2 weeks they called me. Like it was a Sunday, and they was like, "All right, we got a kidney for you." They was like, "Monday, just go to dialysis like you normally do, and then come to Baltimore." And I went down there. I went to dialysis, and I was telling them like, "This might be my last day in here." Like it was very emotional for me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying. And then I went to Baltimore. I checked in the hospital. They did a couple little tests and everything, and they had to wait for the kidney to get there. They had to fly it there. So I wound up getting a transplant like the next morning, probably like 5, 6 in the morning. It was a 6 hour process. You know, they gave me the medicine that put me to sleep. I was asleep. I woke up, had a new kidney. Changed
Wow.
my life, man. It was a blessing, man.
Wow.
And there's so
What was
many people. There's so many people that can't even get to that point. There's so many people
right?
died trying to get to that
Get to
point,
that
bro.
point.
Like,
He was blessed. That prayer that you put up when you first heard about it, it worked. Um, so well, two things. Well, the first thing was like, what was that feeling like when you woke up out of surgery, you went home, you went to sleep, you woke up the next day, and you realized that you got a new kidney. Like, what was that?
well, actually, you have to once you get a transplant, you got to stay in the hospital for a couple of days.
Okay, for sure, for sure. That
And
makes
I
sense.
got out. I got out early because everything was working. Probably because I'm younger, and
Mm-hmm.
everything was going in the right direction. So I think I got out. I went there Monday, then I got out Saturday. It was a process where they, just had to just make sure I was straight before they let me go home. Make sure I had an understanding of the medicines that I had to take, because I had to take a lot of
Yeah,
medicine. They
yeah.
come in there with a book bag of medicine,
Right,
and a specialist to break down for you, like,
right.
okay, you got to take these at this time, this time. I'm like, wow.
And
And
thank God you got.
that was like, not to cut you off, but that was like one of my major fears, like about getting a transplant. Like, damn, I have to take all this medicine for the rest of my life. But I don't take as much medicine as I took when I first got the kidney, and it's not a big deal. Like, I set my alarms. I take medicine 8 in the morning, 8 at night. I just put it into my regular routine,
Right.
and it's helping me stay alive, and it's a blessing.
And thank God for that. When you was saying all that medicine, I'm like, thank God for insurance now. Imagine what that would have been like with no insurance trying to pull that off.
Yeah, I probably would like it. I might have had to
You
hit
feel
Uncle.
me?
I might. I might have to hit Uncle Hove up or something.
Right, right, right. I need to hold something. So and I'm glad you made it through, man. I'm glad you got that call, because we love you, brother. Like we I rock with you the long way. Um, what is it like when you talking to somebody like Scarface and the same thing, coming off a big stage? He's this iconic gangster rapper everybody love, like Uncle Scarface. He's invincible, and now he's using social media, and anybody listening, if you can help him out in any way, we sure would appreciate it. But how's that conversation talking to someone, and you went through that journey, and he's looking for what you got, and it's just like, do you relate to him like a brother? Do you talk to him to uplift him, or you just
Definitely like a brother, man. Like
right,
I got a lot of love for Scarface, man. He was on my album Free at Last, and we flew to Houston to do it. You know what I'm saying? And
right, right,
when you work with an artist, they might send a verse to you, or like, you know what I'm saying? But you don't never
right,
really, like, especially in 2020, you don't get
right,
that experience of being with the artist. So,
right,
we went to the studio, we was vibing to the beat, and then he was like, "Come with me, we about to take a ride." So he took me to his hood, took me to the projects. we went to like a club where they were playing live instruments, and this brother went on stage and played every instrument. He went like around to the whole band and played
Damn.
everybody instrument. He like played the guitar, he
Damn.
played the drums. I'm like, wow, I'm like really riding through Houston with Face. And
Right.
he taking me all these places, and then he went to the club and just played all the instruments. Like it
That's
was like an
hard.
amazing experience, you know. And I appreciate that. So I always look at him like a brother or like a big brother or a mentor, you know. So just to be able to have the knowledge and to be able to, you know,
Share
answer
something with
some
him.
questions for him and be
Yeah.
there for him, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a blessing, you know.
Yeah.
It just I'm happy that, you know, I've been through the experience and I can share my knowledge with him, man. You know, it's major.
No, that's dope, bro.
And
That's
anybody that needs the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Not just him,
right.
anybody. That's why I'm out here. That's why I've been an ambassador for the National Kidney Foundation.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
That's why I
Let's talk
work with
about
the
that.
gift of life.
Let's talk about that. You said the national.
National Kidney Foundation.
So you're an ambassador.
Yeah, I'm celebrity
Okay.
ambassador for the National Kidney. I've been that since I had kidney failure. You know, I've been doing like kidney walks in different
Okay.
cities, Baltimore, Philly. You know, I go to a lot of their events. You know, outreach programs, and you know, speak and you know, just tell my story, tell people what I've been
Yeah.
through. You know, I also work with the Gift for Life too.
So what's the gift of life?
The Gift for Life is whenever somebody gets a transplant in the United States, it goes through the Gift of Life. Their organ donation foundation. You know, when they really help change people's lives. And you know, a lot of people be like, "Oh, I don't want to be an organ donor because if I got that on my license and something happened to me, they're gonna kill me. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do
Wow.
that."
Right.
And
Right.
that's you know that's so far from the truth. Like you know, the Gift of Life saved my life and so many other people. You know, so you know, organ donation is truly a blessing. It can truly save people's lives, man. You know, and I stand on that firm.
Right.
I stand on that firm, bro.
Yeah. It's a real deal, man. The way the world works, when you can be, you know, your what you have can help somebody else if you no longer have use for it. So I heard some news recently, man, and I really wanted to reach out to you. I actually looked through my phone. I was like, man, I gotta find Free's number, and I just really was just, I took a minute to breathe because I'm like, wow, um, and I understand that you lost your son um, recently, and me having a son, I can only imagine what it's like, losing a child, and especially coming out of a situation where you're already dealing with so many complications, and now this comes like, and I really wanted to reach out to you and send you, as many blessings as I can, brother. And it's just like, um, how are you holding up?
Man, like I told you earlier, you know, about Islam and about God, like, you know, without that, bro, I don't know what I like. I don't know, bro. Like without that, I don't know where I would be at right now. But you know, my faith in God and my understanding in God really got me through. Like this 2020 for me, bro.
Right.
Like September, my daughter, she's sitting right here. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer. My daughter fighting cancer right now, bro. We
Wow.
just went to the doctors the other day. Like she's getting ready
Wow.
to start a treatment probably in like another week to try to shrink the tumors that she have in her body. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
God bless
we
him.
we we were dealing with that in September, and then for my son to die like in October, like it's
Yeah, man.
you know they say God tests the ones He loves. You know, He must love me because I've
Yeah.
been getting hit with a lot of tests, bro. But I'm just trying to keep my head up and stay positive.
Right, right. You strong, brother. You strong. You strong. You got that Philadelphia heart in you. What was your relationship like with him? Like what was your relationship like with your son?
I love my son. He loved me. He lived with me. He lived between me and his grandma. His name is his rap name was Snow Hat.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yeah, I
up.
mean, he,
All right.
of course, he love you. Like, I had him around everybody. Uh, he had his own struggles. Just like teenagers coming up. He was 20. You know what I'm saying? He had
Mm-hmm.
little issues that he went through himself. I was just trying to be there for him as much as I can. That's my son. I love him. I wanted the best for him. And it's tough dealing with the fact that he passed, man. But
Yeah.
just trying my best, bro.
No, my son is 20. He's in that age bracket too. Like, um, I mean, I can't like as a father to lose a child. Like, how does that? How do you? And I know you go to Allah. Um, but what do you tell yourself mentally? Like, is there anything that you wish you could have done different? Not that just in the time that you guys had.
And of course, bro, of course. Like I think about that every day. Like it's like anything can trigger it. Like he like
Right.
music. Like I'm like, man, maybe I should have had him with me more. But
Mm,
I was taking the stands with him that he was definitely talented and I definitely wanted him to do music if he wanted to, but I wanted him to have all the other qualities before he was in the music business. Cause if you
right.
don't got your head on straight in the music business, there's no
Right.
way that you could be successful. Like,
Straight
people,
up.
what I mean, he already, had a chip on his shoulder because he was my son, you know what I mean? So he
Hmm.
already having it his way wherever he go, you know what I'm saying, spoiled to a certain point just from being Freeway son, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted him to have the right morals and know how to handle certain situations, and that's what I was trying to instill in him more than anything, more than the music and all that, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's a lot of things that every day I like, man, I could have did this, I could have did that, but I can't beat myself up. And
Yeah.
what's decreed by God, what's decreed by the law, we can't argue with. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would be a hypocrite, if I'm sitting here like, oh, I could have did this, I could have did that, because we all have our stories. Like in Islam, they say the pen has been lifted and the ink has been dried. Like God knows how I'm gonna die, he knows how you're gonna die.
Right.
It's already written. So, it was my son time, man, and of course, like I just opened up a letter earlier today that somebody that he was working with wrote me, and it had me in tears. Just opened up a letter from the Gift of Life today. I just went to the mailbox before I did this. It was two letters, the life, and how like as far as the gift of life, like my son, he saved four lives. He was an
Yes.
organ donor. He saved four lives. Two people got his kidneys, one person got his lungs, and one person got his liver. And
Wow.
it's a blessing, and just for it to come full circle, because someone's son saved my life. Someone's son was in the same position, and they were generous enough for him to be an organ donor, and that's how I received my kidney. So that's why the
Man.
gift of life is so important. And like,
Important.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, they sent me the letter, and I started reading it, and it was telling me like, yeah, it was a 65-year-old man. Your son got his kidney, and I couldn't even read the whole letter. I was like, I'm gonna read it later
Right.
because I know I had to do this and I got other stuff I
Right.
gotta do after that. I was like, I'm gonna read it later when I could sit down and like, really have time to myself and read it, because it probably would have tore me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's anything can trigger it, bro. Like he was right in here with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Walking around. Like I still got footage of him on the cameras walking, going to the refrigerator and like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's rough, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's my boy. Like, you know what I mean? That's a little free. Like,
Right.
Right. And it's crazy because it's black men. We're taught to not show emotion or to feel publicly, and it's just like it's one of those things, man. It's just like but it's crazy because he saved four people. He saved four people, and that's a purpose in his own. Like what was he into? Like what did he like? What he I know he loved music for sure. Um,
he like music. He like everything we like. He like music.
Right.
He love Islam. That's a beautiful thing. And that's another thing that makes me feel content. The fact that he's Muslim, like, and he knew who God
Mm-hmm.
was. He prayed. Like, I ain't gonna sit here and say he prayed all the time, but he prayed and he knew who God was. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and being able to give him an Islamic burial or janazah, that was very important to me too. But like, he from Philly, he loved music, he loved
Mm-hmm.
Islam, he loved the streets. Like, he looked up to everything that I did. He wanted to be just like me.
yeah, yeah, a little free, and those are some hard shoes to follow. So it's just like even with my son, it's just like a lot of pressure trying to walk in your footsteps because you created such a great legacy. I mean, it's just like, and I would encourage, and condolences, my guy, like for real. Um, and it's just like, dealing with all these things that you got going on as far as your daughter, yourself.
And as
Um,
far as that, we right back to the Rumble. Like we was
yeah,
at the doctor's a couple, what was it, Monday? We right back rumbling, like making sure that she pulled through this. Like, you know what I'm
right,
saying? That's why faith is important. Like imagine if I ain't had no faith.
right,
Shout out to my bro Skino too. You know, Skino from State Property. He lost his
right.
son the same week. I was at his son janaza on Wednesday, and that's the same day my son died. I went to his son janaza. We prayed over his son. My son was still in the hospital. We went to that day at 5:04 p.m. My son was pronounced dead, and that
Wow,
like he is rough for both of us, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like he lost his son in a car accident, and his son and his son's girlfriend passed away. They both died in the accident,
wow,
and it's rough, man, but at least we got each other. We got
yeah,
a similar experience that that
yeah,
that we got with each other. That's special to me. And speaking of like, experiences and people going through the same things, you know, I was doing a lot of. I seen you had a picture with Biden, and
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I started like dealing with politics a little bit when I first got sick. You know what I'm saying? That's when Hillary Clinton was running for office. Just basically off healthcare and just making sure that people
mm,
have the healthcare that they need, because we just was talking about how important healthcare is.
right,
So
right,
being as though I've been working with them, Biden team had reached out to me and they wanted me to come to his rally in Philly, and that was like the day after my son died or whatever. And I went and I felt as though it was important for me to go and meet him and chop it up with him. And us being me and you being in the music business and being from the hood, we done came across every type of person. Like I
right.
know it's probably hard to get something past you because you from the
Yeah,
hood
all
and
day.
you've been all over the world. Like I remember I was in
Right.
Chicago and I was in the suburbs of Chicago and these bulls was trying to jam me at a show. I'm like, man, I wake up at 5 in the morning and pray. Like y'all gonna have to y'all gonna have to try harder than that. Like I seen it
Right.
coming a mile away. Like
Right,
it's
right.
niggas in my hood like y'all all every day that I gotta avoid. Like I'd have seen it
Right,
all. So basically, what I'm saying is like being in the business and being around the world, we good judges of character. You could tell when somebody's sincere and somebody not sincere. And when I met Joe Biden, like he was sincere with his grievances to me and for my son because he'd been through it with his son.
his son,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
his
saying?
son,
Yeah.
yep, he
And
just
when
lost
and
his
when
son
we
as well.
talk,
Mhm.
when we talk, I could feel the sincerity in him. And even when they reached out to me and they told me he was interested in meeting me because of the situation with my son and what I've been through and all that, I felt it and it was sincere. That's why I voted for him and that's why I posted the picture of me and him.
Mhm, mhm.
Everybody got something to say under the post,
Right,
like you with the slave master and all that, but
right.
they don't even know what's going on. Like
No,
they so
right,
blind
right.
and they don't even understand that me and this man have a real connection. We both lost
Correct.
our child. Like there's a
Right,
serious connection that anybody that go through this and anybody that's watching this that lost a child is gonna feel what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is
right.
real.
It's bigger than the politics. Is you guys collecting its fathers, and also you just even seeing the conversation of the healthcare and the importance of it. No man, we love you, free man, and anything that I can ever do to help, bro. Like anything that I can ever do to bring awareness to, um, I'm here. Um, do you have a foundation yourself?
Yeah, I have a foundation. It's called Freedom Thinkers Inc. That's my
Okay.
foundation. And I started I founded Freedom Thinkers Academy. I have a website, it's called freedomthinkersacademy.com. And it's music, it's health, and it's culture. You see, they got the hat on
Dope, dope,
Freedom Thinkers
dope,
Academy. And
dope.
on a website, of course, I share a lot of my music and pictures and stuff, but I also have workshops like do it yourself workshops and interactive workshops for artists that want to reach their full potential in the music business.
Mhm,
Like
mhm, mhm.
I do one-on-one Zoom calls like how we're doing right now, and I do
Right.
like whole class Zoom calls on there too. And I'm working with a teacher. Her name is Catherine Smith. She's a doctor and a professor, and we're getting ready to add some STEM classes to the website too. You know what I'm saying, for people,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know, that want to get into the workforce and might not have went to college, and we're getting ready to add some health programs as well on there. Just overall. just trying to help the people, music,
There it
art, and
is.
culture.
Gotta put the people first. I appreciate your time and your energy, my guy. And I'll be praying for you on this end. We're gonna always do that. I'm a phone call away and tell baby girl I'll be praying for her too. And yeah, what's she at? What's how you doing, mama?
He said, "How you doing?" She can't hear you because I got the headphones on, but he said
Okay.
he praying for you. He praying for you.
Already. And I just want to commend you on being a great father and a strong black man. And I thank you for stopping by the Recession podcast. And
Anytime, yeah.
anytime you need me, I'm on deck. And next time when me and Meek in the studio press play again till somebody do something.
Early.
I love you, brother. Be
All
safe,
right,
man.
love, bro. Love you too,
Love,
man.
man. For sure.
Love.